that are practical, and sometimes to go over our list of things this week that we're going to do for organizing summer prep. Now, our topic this week, summer prep, meaning we want you guys to get your kids and your grandkids ready for school, and that really means like kids that are entering school for the first time or even in the early elementary years. And we have someone here that is going to be awesome to help us do just that. So I'm going to introduce Heather. Heather is my niece. So we're like this, right?
Yes.
Tell all of our dark secrets and yeah, okay. So she's a little nervous. So Heather Gonzalez is my niece, and she has recently, well, I guess over the last 2 years, right, been in a state of opening a brand new Christian school called Haltom Christian School in the Fort Worth area, correct?
Yes.
And she, it opens this fall, I think August
19th.
August 19th. And I've asked her to be on because she is a degreed teacher. And I've asked her to be on to sort of give us some ideas of what she would do, knowing that she's got this crew of kids coming in for the first time in this new school. And she's also got a teacher background. She's got 3 girls of her own. You know, how do you suggest and give us some tips on organizing some time to get those kids ready for going into school? But before we get to the tips, Heather, tell me a little bit about what made you come, you know, a little bit of where you were, and then why starting a Christian school? What transpired in your mind to actually make that happen?
So I think really the answer to why we started the Christian school was just by the Lord's prompting. As Lorraine mentioned, I do have a background in teaching. I do have my teaching certificate. And after I graduated, I taught for a little bit high school children, and then I had my first daughter, and we decided to homeschool them. And throughout that process, it was trying to determine the best mode of education for our family, and seeing the benefits of homeschooling versus private schooling and public school. And so really the idea for Haltom Christian School stems from creating a harmony between those 3 modes of education. So it's bringing the parents back into a role of teaching their children and also providing some of those private school opportunities that we can miss out on as homeschoolers. So that's the heart of Haltom Christian School. That's what makes our school unique. The model lends itself to this, as we reserve Fridays as a homeschool day. That's an opportunity for parents to be able to enjoy learning together with their child. So
I like that. And I don't know if the viewers know this here, but I was a stay-at-home mom, and during the years, I had all boys, you had all girls.
Yes.
I have different atmosphere, different smells going on. You know how that is. But I actually did homeschooling, then I private schooled, and then I public schooled. So I did all 3 formats of that. I think I homeschooled like 3 years. 3 different, obviously, grade levels in that. But I liked it. It was a lot of demand. And as you can't, like the first 3 quarters of your day is really spent all about homeschooling, and it needs to be. One of the unique things that we did, homeschooling, which obviously, I didn't end up doing that. Because it was just not feasible for us. And to be honest, I don't have the intellect to
too hard on yourself.
Too hard on myself. I just can't do it. But we would double up on a subject every day. And that in order to get Friday off. That was sort of our creative way to have Friday off. So I like that your school has given that day to be home with the kids, to be able to take that responsibility and educate them that day. Now tell me a little bit about how that Friday is going to work. I mean, are you guys going to provide written instruction for the parents, or is it sort of a creative day? What is that going to look like?
Yes, so it is a day where our mission is to really support parents as they're educating their children. And so we have our teachers send home lesson plans, and it will have the objectives the students were working on for that week. And then there will be some minimal worksheets, and there will also be free field trip ideas. So for example, in preschool at Haltom Christian School, the lesson for the years are thematic, and so they're very creation-based. And so at one point, the children will learn that God created all of the animals in the sea. So an example we like to use is that something the teacher may send home is that parents can take their children to a pet store like PetSmart, and they can look at the different fish. And then we're going to talk about the colors and the sizes of the fish and reinforce some of those things that they were learning during the week at school.
I want to go.
So, right?
The only thing I think I'm invited in is the dedication.
Yes.
Right now.
July 14th. That's our big dedication day. Yeah. It's going to be a very exciting day.
And
we really
I'm
celebrate.
Get me a T-shirt.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
That's the only way someone's going to know that I'm with her, right. And I just wanted to just touch her that day. So,
yeah.
Awesome. So, on the Christian school side of it, it's going to open this fall. And what grade levels is it going to serve to start with?
We're doing preschool through second grade for this first year, and then the plan is to grow a grade level each year after that.
Awesome. Now, what is the church name? And I don't even know this. What is the church name associated with the school?
Calvary Chapel, Fort Worth.
Okay.
We have a great relationship with the church. They're very supportive. Everybody's very excited about the school, and so we're so blessed to be able to use their facility. It's just a beautiful campus.
Am I correct in saying your pastor has had a lot of input in this?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
So Haltom Christian School is funded by Love Never Fails International, which is a nonprofit charity, and then we're supported by Calvary Chapel.
And just based on what I hear of your pastor, he's a rock solid believer. So That's awesome. All right, so before we get into the tips, one more thing I want to ask about homeschooling. So tell me one of your struggles and one of your high moments in homeschooling. Obviously it's not the way you're going because you had this burden, and so I couldn't maintain that myself. So tell me one of your struggles as trying to take on that burden of responsibility with your kids. And then one of your high moments with doing that.
Okay. So I think one of the biggest struggles with homeschooling was, as you mentioned, making that the priority, but also maintaining housework. And then for me, I have 3 daughters. So my youngest turned 4 this year, or my middle daughter turned 4. And so then it was homeschooling 2 of them. And so that made it a little more difficult because we were working out of 2 different texts, and the learning was obviously different. And so that required more time. But I would say one of the biggest victories is teaching my oldest daughter how to read. That was a monumental moment for me, and one that I hope I'll get to have with my middle daughter as well.
Yeah.
And also just hearing them repeat or make application out of something you've said. So one of the most tender moments for my heart with my middle daughter was we learned that God made the sun and that the sun is hot. And there was one night that she came and got in bed with me, and she said, "Mama, you're like the sun." And I said, "What do you mean, Hannah?" And she said, "You're warm." And so it was seeing her make application with this concept that she had learned. And it was just a really precious and endearing moment. And I think that's really the joy of homeschooling, is when they're putting these things together, where they're coming from because you're their teacher. And if I hadn't taught her that concept, then that might have just been a silly thing that she said that was cute. But seeing her put it together was...
And I like the idea that you're not losing that aspect of it as a parent when you decide to go to Haltom Christian School. You're actually still very much intertwined with that area of your kids' learning.
Yes. Because
of that day that you get to actually pour into them teaching from you.
Right.
So you get the best of both worlds.
Yes.
So I like that. And on that biblical teaching too. So awesome. Okay. So Heather has prepared 3 tips. I'm going to give the 4th tip. So we have 4 tips total today. And we are definitely going to be expanding on these tips. Our tips are going to have tips. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Yes. So run with us. Don't get lost. Hang on. Buckle up. Get your Dr. Pepper. In my case, iced tea. Sweet iced tea. With stevia. What's your drink?
Unsweet.
You're not a Texan. I don't know where you came from. Okay, so tip number 1, it's going to be, Heather, tell us a little about preparing for the idea of going to school, especially getting those kids that are in the early elementary or those kids that are just beginning. Tell us a little bit of some tips of what you would do to get them prepped for going to school.
Yes, so I think preparing them for the idea of going to school, I believe that when we tell our children what to expect, we set them up for success. So one of the most daunting things about starting school, particularly for our pre-K and kinder students, is that they've never been in this building before. So throughout the summer, a lot of schools will host events here and there, and so taking advantage of those opportunities to get on campus, get inside the doors, let them see where they're going to be in the next couple of months, and also just simply driving by the school and telling them that's your school, and then going through that drive-through lane if that's set to where you can see that that's where you'll be dropping your child off at, and letting them go through the lane and you explaining to them that when they start school, we're going to drive through here and you're going to get out of the car, and just really just equip them. So I think it helps take away some of that fear that they feel when they're doing something new. And then also explore the playground. Go with them, and if you have access to your school's playground, let them play on that and tell them how much fun it's going to be when all the friends from their class are there. And then,
can you jump over the fence if the gate's locked?
I don't think that's a wise idea. No, okay. I don't.
You said go play on the playground. I just wanted to know
if it's legal.
Listen, if it's legal, you can do it.
And then one of my family's favorite things to do is read together. So there's lots of great books out there that talk about the first day of school or just school in general. There's several that are the first day of, and then you can insert your grade level. So the first day of kindergarten is a book that's very popular. That's cool.
Mm-hmm. And you can just like all the way up, like first day of 12th grade too?
Yeah, I hope not. I hope we've got it by then.
But it does have like for the primary ages.
Sure, yes. And then also
first day of college.
Morris Goes to School is a book that I read when I was a child, and it just kind of talks about that he's going to learn how to do math and how to read, and so it's helping them see what their day is going to look like. Lily's Purple Plastic Purse is another great book that teaches them how to leave their things at home, and if they do get to bring something to school for show and tell, how to do that appropriately, and also how to handle if you get frustrated with your teacher because your teacher's making you listen and obey. So lots of great points in there. And then two of my favorite first day of school books that are great to help teach on this is the Llama Llama Mrs. Mama. There's a whole series by Anna Dewdney, the Llama Llama series that's fantastic. But Llama Llama Mrs. Mama is great for preschool kids. It shows kind of what to expect for the day, but it also reinforces that Mama's going to come back. And so that's a great book. And then my last favorite.
Well, I love these. I love books.
I love books. The Kissing Hand. This one is such an endearing story. It starts with a little raccoon that's nervous about going to school, and so his mother reassures him that everything's going to be okay, and she ends up kissing his hand as a way to let him know that she's with him. And then at the end, it shows that moms miss their children too when they go to school, and they need that same reinforcement. So
that's awesome.
Great
that's
books.
Awesome. When I remember there is, and everyone's different of how they handle this, but I remember after my kids started going to public school or even private school, I loved summertime. Like I didn't, and then when they got ready to go to school, I did not want them to go. Like some people need a break. Mm-hmm. Not that that makes me any better of a mom or worse. It's just I don't know. And I was a stickler on getting chores and stuff. They were probably ready to get rid of me is what that was really the truth. But I liked them home. I wanted to soak all that in, and I got to play with them and do things I couldn't do when school was gone on. And not to mention the schedule of school. You know, it's mm-hmm. the routineness sets in that you can't just sporadically do things. So enjoy the summer with your kids and get those books. And I've heard you say a couple of those books a few times as being really awesome books for getting them ready for back to school. Okay, so our next tip number 2 is prepare for new experiences. Now, whether you're going into kindergarten mm-hmm. or whether you're going into a new level, new grade level, there's always going to be new experiences that you have to deal with. So what would you recommend some of those preparedness things that we can do for experiences?
For new experiences. Mm-hmm. I think one of the best things we can do for our kids before we send them back to school is prepare them to be independent. And so for those younger kids, like kindergarten, teaching them to tie their shoes. just the simple things that they're going to have to do because you're not there. And so when we equip them to be able to do those things, they're going to have a more positive experience, I think.
That means I got to get rid of the Velcro.
That's right. You got to get some laces.
You got to get some laces, because you can't ever teach them if you're using Velcro all the time.
This is true. And then for the older kids, letting them start to pack their lunch. And helping them to make wise choices on what to include in there. But that'll take some pressure off of mom and dad as we're getting ready for the school morning, and let the kids take some ownership. And I don't know if this is true for you, but when I let my kids cook dinner, when they help me, they're more likely to eat it. So.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yeah. When they've had some sort of ownership in cooking, for some reason, all of a sudden onions taste good. So I don't know. But, right? It's true.
I'm going to try it. I don't know if I ever had my kids cook when they were little, helping me.
Yeah, help.
Well,
just
helping.
Help.
Yeah.
Not like I don't pass them, Sophie, you're on spaghetti. Good luck, 6-year-old.
I want a salad and a dressing and all that with it tonight.
No.
Okay.
When they help
I got it now.
Okay, and then another great thing is to practice time frames. Because a lot of times at home, my kids throughout the summer love to kind of snack throughout the day. So letting them have, okay, we're going to practice for when school starts. You get a 30-minute lunch. So everything has to be gone in 30 minutes. That's right. And then also being aware of your school's restrictions. So some schools are peanut-free. Some do it by classroom, but just kind of being aware of those things so that as you're planning what you're going to pack for lunch, you know where to start.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Packing on, I'll give you a little tip. Look, this is like a tip within tips within tips, right? So unpacking your lunch, if like on Sunday night or Sunday during the day would be a great time to sort of pre-pack as much as you can for that week. Like if you buy in bags of crackers and chips and stuff in bulk, you can actually put those in baggies and get them ready for the week and save a little bit of time in doing that, and teach them to do it. So when they're packing their lunch in the mornings, they just grab it. It's much more. It's quicker. It's quicker.
And then I think the last tip for this tip is to prepare either a first day of school tradition, whether that means you go and get donuts and you stick a note in their lunchbox and they know they're going to look for that. Or we just started something this year that we're calling Back to School Blackout. And so everybody in our family wrote down something they wanted to do before school started, and we put it on kind of like a bingo board. And so our goal is to do all of those things before the school year starts.
Yeah, and I can't tell you how, we all as parents have these expectations of what we want to do with our kids. Even in our own personal life, forget kids if you want to say, we always have these goals that we want to do. I plan to do this, I plan to do that. And be honest with you, unless you really take the calendar and just get a hold of it, that's my text is get a hold of it.
Right.
And actually schedule it, you're going to look back and wish that you did those things.
Right.
And I'll tell you what, a lot of the benefit of my boys now being older and one having 3 kids of his own is those foundations of family and experiences were established while he was at home doing those things with us, and it's made some of those memories, things that he does with his kids, and makes them who the father he is. So I'm just saying, you can have great plans to do a lot of great things, but you guys have got to get on the calendar, and you guys have implemented a system where everyone's sort of given their 2 cents of what they want to do, and you're going to see it through.
Right. Yes, and I can attest to that too, because as a homeschooling mom, when I was a stay-at-home mom, being able to do those fun things was kind of, it was okay if that was on a whim. We'll go to the park today. But as a working mom, it's changed. And so it really is important to put that family time down on the calendar.
Yeah,
that's really proven to be true.
Yeah,
for me.
Our statement that I use often, I don't know if Heather's heard it or not, but there's a difference between planning versus scheduling. And that comes into play in every area of our life, but in this particular situation, doing things with your kids.
Right.
All right, so our third tip that Heather's going to talk about is prepare them for peer interaction socially and emotionally. Now that wasn't intended to rhyme, but we had this conversation not too long ago, actually this week, with my granddaughter not winning a trophy. There was 2 people that deserved to win the trophy or the award. In this particular case, it was a trophy, and to make it fair, we put both of their names in the hat because both equally deserved it, and we pulled out the other person's name. And that, she didn't cry, she didn't whine, she didn't pout. I explained the situation to her and told her that she equally deserved it, but she didn't win because we could only have one winner. That was difficult for me, and I was really trying not to be biased. So, those letdowns, those emotional situations where everyone is not going to be the best, or you have to learn to share. Tell us some tips about what you would try to prepare them for over the summer.
Yeah, I think to your point, I think it's very important to let our kids feel some of those emotions now when they're young and the stakes are low, rather than later when they're older and the stakes are high. So preparing them to know, just like that, they're not always going to win. They're not always going to get what they want, particularly when they're in school, because this is a group setting, and so it's a collective effort in the classroom to make it run the way we want it to. So some of the things we can do to help prepare them socially and emotionally, I think, is to play games together. So board games are a great opportunity to teach kids that not everybody wins every time.
No, and I want to say, I have to throw this in. Your brother, I love him to death. He'll probably never see this video, but he was a sorry loser when he was younger. Now he's not as sorry of a loser. He's better.
I don't know about that.
I'm just saying, but that took time to build.
Yeah.
And your dad did a great job putting that into him listen, you're not, have joy, be
just
happy for the other.
enjoy the game of being together and playing together.
And I love him, by the way,
Right.
and I will play a game with you, and I just want to be together.
Yes, and then another one that we play with our children is just what would you do if? And so it can be super simple to gear those things towards school. So what would you do if you saw somebody take a friend's toy? And then let them answer, and then you can kind of guide them from their answer on a great way to respond to something like that. And then also to equip them with coping mechanisms. So we have 3 daughters, and they're each very different, and one of them responds really well by taking 3 breaths in, 3, and then letting it out. And so reminding her that she's getting really worked up, and so we need to take a breath, we need to breathe, and then I make her blow it out so I can feel it, and it moves my hair, and so that works for her. And after she does the 3 breaths, she's ready to listen and start working. And then for my oldest daughter, it's just showing her that she's been here before, and so that's what I'll call it, is I've been here before. So telling them that you may feel nervous when you go into the classroom that first time, and you might feel nervous trying to make new friends, but then reminding them of a time where they've done those things, where they went into a new classroom. Maybe it was a different church because you were visiting family, or maybe it was reminding them on how they did make friends before. And so just showing them that they're fully capable of dealing with these things and doing a great job with it.
I like that. Yeah. I like that. All right. Well, so any more tips? Nothing? No.
Well, I think the last one there on preparing them socially and emotionally would be to read Bible stories together, because I think part of Haltom Christian School's mission is for our children to become fruitful followers of Christ. And so anytime we can get into the Word, that is a cherished time. And then also teaching them how to make application with it. So a great one that Lorraine and I were talking about earlier was David and Goliath. And so David stood his ground when everybody else was afraid, and he was strong in the Lord. And so, tying that into something they might experience, such as bullying, and that when there's a bully around, then we're going to hold our ground, and we're going to stay strong in the Lord, and just how we can overcome those things.
Yeah, and Goliath was a tall bully. He was described in the Bible as a giant, and 9-10 foot tall, and so he was bullying, he was threatening, he was not being nice, if you want to bring it into modern day terminology. Sure. And David stood his ground, and he was the youngest of his brothers, and just teaching them to be in that gap, to stand up for others and not just to stand by and watch others, be bullied in that situation. So he had a lot of strength, even though in the midst there it was fear, because humanly we would have fear in that situation.
Right.
It's what you do with it. So, but anyway, that's actually a really good practical application from biblical characters. I like that. Okay, so my tip is not going to be anywhere as good as all of Heather's tips. So, but I always have to throw my 2 cents in here. So I thought I would talk about what I have done in the past to help prepare my kids for school. But it is definitely a little bit more preparation maybe for me, but I have always included the kids in this. So I would recommend on tip number 4 that you as the parent go out to the school's website, like right now, today, this weekend, and get the 2019-2020 school calendar, the full calendar for the year. It will have picnics, it will have report cards, it will have a lot of academic things on there, programs in fact, and it may not have everything, but it will definitely have a lot. And you can start planning with your kid what they have to look forward to, or when their spring break is, or how long they're going to get for Christmas break. Because if they really don't want to go to school, you've got to give them something to look forward to. They've got to go no matter what. And that not only helps you guys be better organized with what's coming, but it lets them know what's coming, and you can put it on a family wall calendar as well as, your calendar on maybe a digital device. The thing is with digital calendars, and I use them, you don't? Yeah.
No, I use paper.
You use paper. One of the pros with papers is that if it's in an area that people can see or it's on a wall, the kids get to see sort of what's coming. And sometimes you may have 2 if people have digital and a paper. And that is a great benefit. They can see when that spring break is or see when that holiday is and look forward to that in preparation for going back to school. So just my 2 cents on that. Well, thank you. Thank you for all your tips. And we've got more information that we're going to, actually later on after this episode's over, sometimes probably today, we're going to post a link to your school's website.
Okay.
And we'll be, you guys, if any one of you guys have people in the Fort Worth area, is it on the North Fort Worth? Where is Haltom?
It's actually in Haltom City.
Oh, that is actually
in Haltom City, but it's in the Fort Worth Metroplex.
Gotcha. So we'll put the school's website on there, and if you're interested, they're already doing enrollment now, and school's going to start on August 19th. So contact them for more information on that. So let's go on to our winner of last week. I thought this was 2 great giveaways. And I want to hear your take on this. So last week we were going to give away to someone that posted a comment down below this drawstring flip sequins bag. It can come in any color, or you could choose from the poop pen that makes, hey, it's a bonus. It comes with 7 fart sounds. What kid would not like this or this? I mean, I'm serious. Well, the winner of this, one of the gifts, and I'll tell you which one she chose, is Stephanie Stanley from Tyler, Texas. And Stephanie said in her comments that she already has 2 boys with plenty of sounds going around the house, and so she didn't need this anymore. I can't help myself. So she'll take the sequins back.
That was a good comment.
So I'm like, she goes, I have plenty of the other stuff, so let's
take the bag.
I'll take the bag instead. So congratulations, Stephanie, and we will be smelling this out to you sometimes later this week. And thank you very much for making a comment down below. So our giveaway this week, now we talked about 3 books, but 2 books are going to be your option. These are actually, I think, the nicer books.
Yes.
To mention. You hold up one of them and tell them just a little bit about it again.
So this one was The Kissing Hand, and
she's new at this, folks, so we just have to sort of teach her.
And it's the one about, it's a great back to school book for really any age, but the little raccoon's nervous about going back to school, and so it's mom reinforcing that he's going to be okay, he's going to have a good time, and as a way to stay with him throughout the day when he feels scared or lonely, she kisses his hand, and so he can put it up to his cheek.
Now, would you recommend this? If someone picked this book, would you recommend it for one going into like kindergarten or one that's already in going into 2nd, 3rd grade?
Yeah, I think it's great for any elementary grade.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You have that option of picking that book, or you can pick this book. One book you pick, Either one. This is what is it? Llama?
Mrs. Mama.
Mrs. Mama.
This one's great for preschool and kinder because of the activities little llama's doing in there. But it just teaches them that throughout the day, the teacher is there for them. They're going to make friends. He starts to have a good time in class, but then Mama comes back for him. So it just shows that Mama always comes back.
I got it. Okay, so you get to pick by leaving a comment down below of which tip that you liked of all of Heather's or my tip. I can be included. I had a small segment of this giving tips, but either way, just go ahead and pick. You better pick mine. Better pick mine. Okay, so anyway, you get one of these books. You just have to mention, comment down below, and we'll select the one next Sunday and then mention you on next Tuesday who actually won. Okay, so let's go on to the next thing. So let's talk about our giveaway. That was our giveaway. Let's talk about our tip tool of the week. Mm-hmm. So every Tuesday we have a tool that I pick. It can be a website or a resource or an actual product that I pick. I can find them at stores, online, whatever, that I really feel that will be beneficial as an organizational tool to help you be more efficient, save time, be better organized, maximize space, and so much more. So I'm going to give this box to Heather here. And Heather, if you'll just hold this for just a second, and we're going to get here. This is going to be something that, well, I'm going to talk about it, and then I'm going to have you tell me why you think you like it.
Okay.
It's going to be backwards in the actual video here, but it's called the Time Timer. This particular model is the Plus, Time Timer Plus. So it is a timer. So let me put this back over here. I want you guys to know sort of the history of where I found this and what I did with. You want to hold it for me just there? So she's. Are you Vanna? Are you good, Vanna? Vanna. Does she still exist?
Yes.
She does. Okay. Hello, Vanna. Okay. So I was at a National Association of Productivity and Professional Organizers. Say that a few times. 2, 3, 4 months ago. And one of the booths there at the expo, the event, the conference, was this company. And I went over to them and I looked at all of their clocks on their table and I was absolutely impressed. So you've heard timers, like little timers you set and it tick, 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 and they can't really tell the seconds, or, you know, it's you hear this big ring at the end. They focus on clocks that are for visual people. And a lot of kids are very visual. They can't read time. They can't see the second hand, or they can't, you know, really identify what it is. And so they make these clocks in all different types. Like you might want to have a 60-minute clock, or a 30-minute clock, or a 15-minute clock, or even a second clock. They're all different kinds. So I asked the company to send me a clock so I could try it out, because really for not only would it be beneficial to kids, and I'm going to let you talk about that, but we have a lot of adults in Get Organized that we help with that have attention deficit disorder. They have a problem really visualizing how much time has gone by or how much time they have to do a task. So I like this here. If you notice, turn that knob right there. It actually opens up and you can visually see the time. So right here she has it for 15 minutes. This particular clock goes all the way. So I let one of our sons use this, who struggles a little bit with ADD, and he absolutely loves it. It doesn't make any noise. It's very quiet. When it does get to the point of turning off, I think it has 3 beeps, and you can adjust the volume on those beeps, and it's done. And I like the handle. It sets up right. Different sizes, different times. Go out to their website. It is called timetimer.com, and this particular one is the 60-minute timer. And let me see if there's anything else on here I wanted to. It's the Plus one as well. I can't remember the price. I think it was less than $30 for this, maybe like $20, $25. But so what do you think about timers for kids?
I think it's great. I think it's a great resource in the classroom. I also think it's great coming home. So if there's homework, to set the homework timer. And my kids do a great job with timers, actually counting down for some reason. really makes them boogie. So when they can see it, I think that's really helpful.
The wrath of mom is
Right.
coming down. I'm reading the back of the box here. It says, for over 20 years, children, adults, and groups have used the time timer to stay focused, productive, and relaxed throughout the day. As time elapses, the signature red disc disappears, creating a clear and simple picture of the time remaining. Portable and quiet with a protective cover, it is a great way to promote efficiency at work or play or with kids or school. So I like that. So that is our Tip Tuesday tool of the week. And we will also leave a website on this down below too by the end of the day as well. All right, so next Tip Tuesday, I'm going to be doing Tip Tuesday by myself, and it's going to be about organizing a 4th of July event. So, Heather, what are you doing for 4th of July?
I'm coming to see you.
Why are you coming to see me?
Because it's so much fun.
What do we do on 4th of July?
Order big, what are they, water slides?
Yeah.
Yeah, big water slides.
Yeah.
Eat lots of good food.
Lots of good foods. And
Snow cones.
snow cones.
I have 3 girls, so painting nails is big.
And with face painting.
Face painting.
We water balloons.
It's a party.
It's a party.
It's definitely
it's
a party.
only family invited. Well, I guess
That's not true.
we've had a few friends over the years, but mainly family. It's our big family get together outside of Christmas every year, and so my backyard will not all be set up, but some of it will be, and hopefully, if weather permitting, we'll be able to do Tip Tuesday outside and talk about what I do to prepare for a 4th of July family event. And large or small, I think you're going to be able to benefit from the tips. So please join us next Tuesday about organizing a 4th of July event. And I should be red, white, and blue.
I think so.
I think so.
Have you shown your nails yet?
Oh, yeah. Heather wants me to show my nails. So we're all getting prepared.
So patriotic.
So patriotic. I mean, it's like sometimes we do things on our face and our arms, and I got a great gift for you guys this week. I always give you a little bit, like patriotic duct tape was one year.
I remember.
Who couldn't use that? I mean, seriously. So I got a good one this year.
Okay.
Yeah, she's going to be wanting to wear it everywhere. Okay. Okay. So one thing I do every Tip Tuesday is talk about a service that Get Organized offers. And so to go along with today's topic, I thought I would focus on creating a homework space or maybe to a craft room for your kids. Whether you do that right before they go back to school or right after they're back to school, because sometimes people don't want to do a lot of the organizing when the kids are home. I get it. We can create for you a space that not only houses the overall supplies you need, like we call it the store area where you go shop with for more supplies, but we can create a smaller space with everyday items that you need in a kitchen or a dining room, someone nearby where you can sort of supervise the kids doing their homework. When the kids are little, the organization needs to be really different than when they get older. A lot of times they don't want to do it at the kitchen table anymore or the dining table. So you have to sort of shift and figure out where's the best place for each student. Sometimes your kids need to be completely separated, right? Like they cannot work together at all. Maybe you have a kid that struggles with ADD and needs a really setup that including, for example, a water bottle in their setup where they don't have to go and keep getting water because they keep getting distracted and they want to go do something. They want to get up and move around. So our organizers can set up a totally awesome area for your kids, homework, play, crafts, you name it, maximizing space. Just give us a call and we'd be happy to do so. So don't forget, in order to win one of these books, we're giving away one of these and you get to decide. You'll need to leave a comment down below of which tip of mine or Heather's that you actually liked. And again, check out what is your website name?
It's just haltomchristianschool.com.
Easy enough. Check out their school, and if again you know anybody that is looking for that combination of, they'd love to do homeschool but can't really do it, versus they don't want to send their kids to public school. This is a wonderful blend of an opportunity to have best of both worlds, to be honest, in a Christian environment. So definitely check out the website. We're going to post that website again or a little bit later on this afternoon as well. So thank you for joining us for Tip Tuesday, and leave a comment down below, and we'll see you guys next week on Tip Tuesday. Thank you, guys.